All right, let's get into it. The housing market right now is sending out some seriously mixed signals. I mean, on one hand, you've got interest rates dropping and builders offering these incredible deals. That should be a recipe for a buying frenzy, right? But instead, buyers are just vanishing. So we're going to figure out why.
And this right here is the central mystery we're tackling. You've got mortgage rates falling, making loans cheaper. You've got builders practically giving away incentives. And yet the very people who should be jumping at these deals are ghosting the market. It just doesn't add up. So let's unpack this paradox.
Okay, so first things first, we need to establish the core problem here. The buyers are missing in action. Demand is weak pretty much across the board.
And the data on this is really clear. Even though it looks like a golden opportunity for a lot of people, home buying demand is just weak. And this isn't just a problem in one or two cities. We're talking about a nationwide trend.
Look, this isn't just a gut feeling. It's right here in the numbers. In the last week of October, for instance, mortgage applications dropped by almost 2%. And that's a huge deal, because that's one of the first steps in the home buying process. It tells us fewer people are even bothering to start.
Now, this is where the story gets really interesting, because the market isn't just slowing down. It's sending out two completely different, totally conflicting signals at the exact same time. You can basically split what's happening into two columns. Over here on one side, you've got all the good news, all the stuff that should be pulling buyers into the market. And on the other side, well, you've got the puzzling reality of what's actually happening. So let's dig into the good news first. Okay, check this out. As of early November, the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage was averaging 6.22%. Now, I know that might not sound revolutionary, but it's actually one of the lowest rates we've seen in the past year. A drop like that should be a massive motivator for anyone on the fence. And it's not just about the interest rates. The home builders are getting really aggressive. You've got D.R. Horton out here offering mortgages at a jaw-dropping 3.99%. Lennar is throwing in incentives worth more than $60,000 on their average home. I mean, these are the kinds of deals designed to get houses sold fast.
So let's just recap. We've got lower borrowing costs and builders offering these incredible deals, and yet buyers are just staying on the sidelines. What on earth could be powerful enough to make people walk away from deals like these?
This brings us to the next piece of this wild puzzle, home prices. Because, with demand this weak, you'd expect prices to be dropping everywhere, right? Well, that is not what's happening. Just take a look at this. In the third quarter, home prices actually went up in more than 3/4 of all metro areas. So even with fewer buyers out there shopping, prices in most of the country are still climbing. It really defies the simple logic of supply and demand. And when you break it down by region, you can see the story is totally different depending on where you live. The Northeast saw a pretty solid 6% price jump. The Midwest was up over 4%. But then look at the West. It actually saw a tiny dip. It just goes to show you, it's not one housing market, it's a fractured landscape where your zip code changes everything. So, if it's not low rates and it's not big incentives, what is this invisible force that's keeping buyers away and somehow still pushing prices up in most places? Well, the answer seems to boil down to one single powerful factor. Let's call it the uncertainty engine. And here's our first big clue, coming from Hannah Jones at Realtor.com. She points out that it's not about the numbers on a piece of paper, it's about how people feel. It's about sentiment. And all the economic uncertainty, fueled by things like the government shutdown, is really weighing heavily on people's minds. And honestly, how can anyone feel certain about anything when the data itself is so confusing? I mean, look at this. One report for October says the private sector added jobs, but another report from the exact same month shows announced layoffs hit their highest October level in over 20 years. So, which one are you supposed to believe? Jake Krimmel from Realtor.com absolutely nails it right here. With all the official government reports delayed, you're left with this jumble of private data. There's no single source of truth, and that makes it almost impossible for someone to feel confident enough to make a huge decision like buying a home. So here's the bottom line. The real culprit, the reason buyers are ghosting this market, isn't just about rates or prices. It is pure, simple uncertainty. The economic fog is just too thick for most people to feel comfortable making the biggest financial decision of their lives right now. And this widespread uncertainty has a very clear consequence. It's basically put the entire housing market on hold. It's like the whole thing is in a state of suspended animation.
But what's so fascinating is that it's not just the buyers who are waiting. As Mike Simonson points out here, sellers are holding back too. Think about it. Most homeowners with a low mortgage rate, they don't have to sell. So if the market feels weird and buyers are scarce, why would they list their home? They're just choosing to wait it out.
And that creates this massive standoff we're in. Step 1, buyers are waiting for the economic fog to clear. Step 2, sellers are waiting for those buyers to come back. And step 3, the Federal Reserve, the ones who control interest rates, they're waiting for clear data before they make their next move. It's a total feedback loop of inaction where everyone is waiting for everyone else.
So that leaves us with the one big question as we wrap this up. In a market where buyers, sellers, and even the Fed are all waiting on someone else to make the first move, who is going to blink first? And what in the world is it going to take to finally break this stalemate? That is the story to watch.